What number of pre-seasons this one? That's just ended for you.
10th.
Rate it?
Life member this year. Me and Tom Cleary, so exciting.
Rate this one compared to the others.
This has been as good as my best ones, I think. I've been injury-free. I had a little clean-up at the end of the season on my knee, but that didn't hold me back from anything. So, bit of a COVID scare at the start of January. Cost me a few days, but it's been as good as any I've had personally. And I think as a team, we've made some big inroads still and a lot of improvements. So we're up and running, excited for Saturday.
Most competitive for places in the midfield, considering that group that's behind you now?
Certainly, yeah. I made the comment to Kenny a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't so much worried, but I was sort of thinking probably 12, 18 months ago, where's the next sort of mids coming through when Boki and Robbie, obviously part-time mid, move on. But I think the growth in guys like Willem Drew, Meady, Zach and Connor coming into midfield, Carl, Xavier Dersma, these guys who are traditionally on the wing coming inside, I think we've got ample options there. We're almost going down that team full of mids role where we're all going to play forward at times and rest forward, but everyone down forward has got the capabilities to come on ball or on a wing.
So that's the big question. How do you manage when you've got that sort of number in the midfield, and where do they go when they're not in the centre square?
Yeah, certainly. And we've been working on that and trying different combinations throughout these 2 pre-season games and the intra-club as well. So it is something we're still working on, whether you rotate to a bench or you go deep forward. I guess different guys have got different strengths, so it's going to one size not fit all guys. So we're working with those combinations, and I think we've sort of nailed that now.
How do you feel wearing that tag Brownlow medalist this year?
If you probably asked me a month ago, I was probably a little bit rattled with it and perhaps the expectations, but I've had some good conversations with some people, and I've been able to reset my mind to putting it behind me, and that's all in the past. And despite wearing that tag, it doesn't define who I am now and the player I am now. So restarting and being as hungry as ever is what I'm working on, and that'll come out Saturday night.
Who do you talk to in that regard? Who do you get advice from there?
Oh, a lot with Kenny. Kenny's been my right-hand man from the day I've walked in the club. I open up to him, not just about football stuff, but personal life. So he's got an enormous experience with that, playing around some incredible players and then obviously coaching them as well. So he's got a lot of lessons there, as well as our club site commander, who's enormous, does a lot of work with me, not just with this, but with some anxiety stuff. So there's a lot of people around the club that we can lean on and ask questions, and they've been really helpful for me.
Statistically, the last couple of Brownlow medalists have probably had a little bit of a regression the year after. How do you make sure this doesn't happen to you?
Yeah, well, that probably makes sense, because to win a Brownlow, you've got to have a pretty good year. So I understand that, but I'm certainly not falling in that trap. So I still think I've got a lot to improve on and a lot that I've worked on over the off-season. My role, personally, I know it down to a T. It's pretty simple in my mind. So nothing revolves around numbers for me. It's all about my role for the team. And if I'm able to do that, then I'm happy with that. So I'll be doing everything I can to continue my form.
When you get to this level, is it about improving, or is it more about trying to reproduce what you can do?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think you can probably look on what you've done in the past and want to maintain that, and that's probably right in all manners, but I think you've still got to look for improvement to keep you honest and keep you searching for that level. So there's been little things in my game, so just finishing off handballs, driving through tackles when I get the ball, just really little things that I've continued to work on and put the work into that I think are going to keep me on my toes and keep me improving.
Ollie, just on that, the new interpretation that says you've got to get rid of the ball as soon as you tackle, how's that affected you? What have you noted in the pre-season about just getting rid of that ball and getting rid of it correctly?
Yeah, I think when we first got the presentation, we were really hot on it, but to be honest, we haven't really seen it umpired like they presented it. I think they've been going for other things like 50-metre penalties for any back chatting or I guess giving it back to the umpires. I think when we got presented the rules where you wouldn't have much of an opportunity to get rid of it, you got to get rid of it, you're going to get pinged. We thought, and I remember the first session we went out and trained it, we were giving it first, but come the intra-clubs, and we have a lot of umpires come out throughout the week to train umpire sessions, it hasn't really been a big issue. I think it's been pretty similar to the past, really.
So when you first saw it, what did it challenge you on?
Not really taking a tackle on at all. If you got over a tackle, even if you took a tackle on and you were looking around, that's still going to be holding the ball. That's the way we were presented, and it hasn't turned out that way. So we haven't really had to change too much.
You would have been playing with Robbie when he was basically a full-time mid and doing some pretty special things in there. Are there similarities between him and Zach, and how impressed are you by him, and what do you think his ceiling is?
Yeah, certainly. I think not just the way he goes and wins the ball, but in the way he uses the ball. I think we like to get the ball to Zach. He's similar to probably Dan Houston on half-back line. They use the ball so well and set us up. So his ability to move his feet at stoppage and be so agile to win the ball. He's not a player that's going to he doesn't have a big frame, so he's not going to throw his body around. He's going to use it with his agility. And then the way he uses the ball, it's very similar to Robbie. I think they're incredible impact players, and to see his growth over the last 18 months, even coming through his injury and his ankle to the point he is now, I think he's up and running and he's in for a big year.
You kind of mentioned his light frame. You can still kind of throw it around a little bit in the midfield. Are you surprised at how well he can actually handle the physicality in there?
Oh, knowing how much he bench presses at about 50 kilos, he's probably the last man you want to run into at training, to be honest. I remember about a month ago in pre-season, he dropped Sammy Hayes, big ruckman, just a bump contest. He's, for some reason, got the hardest body you'll find. He's always jumps up, so he does put himself in harm's way at times where we've got to sort of slow him down, but that's just who he is. He loves a contest, and he'll throw his body around.
Just to go back to the anxiety you talked about with sort of coming to terms with the Brownlow tag, do you anticipate everyone who matches up at you at any point during the season, are you expecting more sledging or an extra 10% of effort? How do you plan for that week in, week out, do you think?
I don't think so. I think every player that goes out there is hungry to beat their opponent. I certainly know our team is, so I wouldn't imagine any other team would be too dissimilar. So I think everyone will be going out there, and once you're out there, you're not really thinking about that. You're just thinking about beating your man. So I don't think that'll come into it, to be honest.
Brisbane has taught Port Adelaide, if you're not at the contest, you'll get burnt. Have you worked out an answer to it yet after so many episodes?
Not so much an answer, but I think we know what's going wrong there, and it is the contest and winning the contest and getting out number ball. So that's certainly something that we put a lot of work into over the pre-season, and the first Gold Coast game, it wasn't there. It was there against the Crows. So it's something we know win and loses our games, and particularly those games we get blown out, it gets blown away. So we know it's a big KPI for us, and we'll have to be on to it Saturday night.
Why do you think you've struggled for consistency in that space?
It's a tough question. We can't really put one thing down to it. I think in those games it comes down to a lot of things. I think when we think around the contest, we think about winning the ball inside, but it's a combination of things: free kicks against, contested marks. Not everyone's inside a contest at a stoppage, so the backs and forwards contribute in their own ways. So I think wanting to be in the fight for longer is really important for us, and not dropping our heads when things go against us. So we put some work into some triggers for us when we know we're up against it, because teams are going to get a run at times, 2-3 goals in a row, and get some momentum. So we've got some things to revert back to in our game plan to try bring us back to that core of our footy club, which is winning the contest and putting pressure on.
Ollie, how have you found?
Just last couple guys.
How have you found Jeremy Finlay since his transition into the club, and would you say he has a pretty big job early on in his Port career with Charlie Dixon coming back from injury?
Yeah, certainly. I think Jez has put every foot in the right position. He's come in. He's as fit as he's been. He says he is, and I was really surprised. I hadn't watched a lot of GWS games, but how well he kicks the ball. He's tremendous. Not just kicking at goal, but setting our forwards up as well. So he's got a big job filling and helping out fill that role for Charlie in the first or second round, and we know he's capable of filling that.